The Redmi Note 7 Pro has been unchallenged in its segment, especially with regards to cameras. Now, can the new Realme 3 Pro change that? Well, that's what we aim to find out in today's video. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and let's get this camera comparison started. Now, before we look at the samples, let's quickly run down the hardware. Both phones have dual camera setups to the back. The Redmi Note 7 Pro has a primary 48 megapixel sensor, the Sony IMX 586. It's paired with the f1.8 lens, whereas the Realme 3 Pro has a primary 16 megapixel sensor. Again, a Sony sensor. This is the IMX 519. It's paired with the f1.7. Both feature 5 megapixel secondary depth sensors. So that said, let's jump to the images. By the way, if you do end up liking what you see here in this video, please don't forget to turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Now, under good lighting, both these cameras perform well. The Redmi Note 7 Pro seems to capture colors a little better. Realme does have a chroma boost option that helps dial up the saturation and dynamic range. It works in some instances. Now, from a bokeh perspective, you might think the f1.7 on the Realme should cause better bokeh than the f1.8 on the Redmi, but not really. Given the sensor sizes of these phones, f1.7, 1.8 doesn't make that much of a difference. The depth of field is kind of similar for both of these phones, so we don't really have a clear winner with regards to the shallowness of the depth of field. Now, from a dynamic range perspective though, the Realme 3 Pro has a clear advantage. While Realme has similar or more detail in the highlights, that is the sky, it does have clearly more detail in the shadows. Just look at this for yourself. Now, the Redmi Note 7 Pro is not to be outdone. It hits right back with detail. Yes, I did say the Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro have similar detail, but that's with the default mode. The Note 7 Pro does have a 48 megapixel mode, a real 48 megapixel mode. The Realme, on the other hand, ironically, does not have a real 64 megapixel mode. They do market a 64 megapixel mode, but that's just marketing, because the Realme 3 Pro can only kind of sort of interpolate and upscale to 64, so it's not close. It doesn't really do 64. The Note 7 Pro does capture a lot more detail here. There's not really any competition when it comes to the higher megapixel counts. Now, with regards to selfies, the Note 7 Pro has a 13 megapixel shooter, while the Realme 3 Pro has a 25 megapixel shooter. The Realme 3 Pro does a lot better here, whether it's dynamic range, as you can see in the shot, or if it's skin tones or detail. It's a clean sweep. The Realme 3 Pro wins with regards to selfies. Now, when we talk about portrait selfies, Realme has a more pronounced bokeh, but the Redmi might just have better edge detection. Talking about portraits, let's circle back to rear portraits. The Redmi Note 7 Pro here lets you adjust bokeh to your liking. You can make it stronger, you can make it weaker. I mean, the way you like it, you can set it to that. And it also has much better skin tones. This means the Note 7 Pro wins rear portraits. Now, moving on to video, while neither phone has support for EIS at 4K, the Realme 3 Pro does edge ahead with better colors and dynamic range. Under low light, the Redmi Note 7 Pro with its larger size pixels is supposed to do better, but the Realme 3 Pro with its faster lens puts up a surprisingly good fight. When zoomed in, it has more detail. Now, this is without the dedicated night mode. Now, with the night mode on the Redmi Note 7 Pro and Nightscape on the Realme 3 Pro, the performance improves vastly with both cameras. Now, given how night modes work, both cameras tend to produce shaky results in some instances. Like here, the Redmi Note 7 Pro has a shaky image, and in this scenario, the Realme 3 Pro has a shaky image. But this happens from time to time Overall, the low light performance is pretty close with both phones, but if I had to pick one, I'd say the Redmi Note 7 Pro has the slightest of edges here. So in conclusion, under good light, the Redmi Note 7 Pro wins detail because of that 48 megapixel mode, portraits with better colors, and edges ahead under low light conditions. Now, the Realme 3 Pro, on the other hand, it manages to win dynamic range under good lighting conditions, selfies, colors, detail, and dynamic range, a clean sweep there, and videos with regards to better colors. So overall, both these phones seem to be quite on par with each other with regards to camera performance. I would say the Note 7 Pro does have the slightest of edges overall with regards to how mature the camera performance is, but the Realme 3 Pro does seem to put up a good fight. So I would say the camera performance is not really going to be the deciding factor between these two. Get whichever phone you want. You're going to be happy with the cameras you get on them. Camera shouldn't be the deciding factor on what you end up buying here. So I guess that's it for this camera comparison. What do you feel about what you've seen in this video? Do you agree with my conclusion? What is your preference between these two phones? Let me know in the comments below, and thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. So where do we go from here? You want to see a full comparison between these two. They've been pretty close with cameras, they've been pretty close with speed. The Redmi Note 7 Pro kind of edged ahead with regards to cameras. The Realme 3 Pro is kind of edged ahead with regards to speed. So should we do a full comparison next? Anyway, here are two other videos. Maybe you'd like one of them. So go ahead, watch that. Check out our other channel, FTJ. And I guess that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.